Ladies and gentlemen, her.
Hey, look what I have.
So, fun fact, not only do I hate the way it looks, but it also made a little noise every now and then, brushing it as a microphone, so never again, I'm so sorry.
Am I giving mermaid? I really did my best. I think I'm giving mermaid. I did put on denim shorts for this and you can't see them, so I am gonna quickly change into pajamas because it's November and I'm cold. That just felt like this video was going in a different direction than it's actually going. Okay, I'm ready. I feel like I've started all my videos like, when I was a kid, this piece of media was important to me for X reasons, and now I'm gonna talk about it for X reasons. So, when I was a kid, H20 Just Add Water was very important to me. I've got a special power. I've got a special... In the summer, there was this channel in Spanish TV, Neox, if you know, you know. And it would play a bunch of episodes every morning, and I would watch it with my brother, and all of my friends would watch them as well. And then in the afternoon, we would go to the beach and pretend that that was us. We all had our favorites. I was always torn between Cleo and Ricky, and we would all play pretend. We did their hand movements and pretended we had powers. You know, Cleo, Ricky, Emma. I kind of nailed that, I think.
I really did not.
One of my friends and I had this ritual. We would be standing in the ocean, not yet having submerged our heads, and we would sing, "I've got a special power," and then jump headfirst into an oncoming wave, like they did in the show. And I still do it sometimes. I don't think we did it this summer, but we definitely did do it last summer. I'm annoyed that you can't see that this is a cropped up. Wait. Okay. So this summer, since H20 is on Netflix now, I watched episodes in the morning whenever I could, and it was really nice. And as I was watching, I started to notice some stuff that I didn't notice before because it's not important, because it's a cool show about mermaids for kids and for teens. So the logic of the water contact transformation is a bit insane. And I'd love to overthink it here now with you. I've got a special power. I've got a special power. Small disclaimer, this is not a video of me pointing out small inconsistencies that don't matter and don't have an effect on whether the show is good or not. I think that that type of criticism has very little value in general, like, who cares? I just want to have a good time with the idea of the mermaid transformation and what that would be like in real life because I think it's really fucking cool. So let's start by establishing the rules. If water touches their skin, and I assume by extension their hair and nails, they turn into mermaids in about 10 seconds. But given that in the show they are seen drinking water and not transforming, we can assume that the inside of their bodies, or at least their mouths, doesn't count. And it's not just water, but also other liquids and substances that have water in them, like moisturizer. When they first transform in the second episode, Cleo remarks that since moisturizer is mostly water, they can never moisturize again. So there's a bunch of stuff that they can never use again without transforming. And I'm gonna read from my notes because I'm not about to memorize this. Lipstick, lip gloss, eyebrow gel, foundation, eyeliner, cream products like blush or bronzer, nail polish, I think, cologne and perfume. I don't know what the difference between those is. Deodorant has water in it, girl. No more deodorant. Like, imagine that. The stench. So they can never do their makeup again, which would honestly kill me. I am nothing without eyebrow gel, lipstick, and lip gloss, which reminds me. I'm a little obsessed with myself right now. Oh my god. Maybe I should do my makeup more often. I just took so many selfies. Oh my god. Let's continue. More stuff they can't use. No body moisturizer, so imagine that. And if they wanted to shave their legs and other stuff, they can't do it in the shower or use shaving cream. Hair removing wax is also out of the question because it contains water, so they would have to shave their dry skin, which, god. I checked and vegetable oil doesn't have water in it, so they could use that, but it would be so messy and so gross, and it would fuck up their page balance so bad. And they couldn't wash it off without turning into mermaids.
But wait, what about the laser removal?
That's true, sorry, I did not think of that.
It was my idea.
This is the girl that I would go with to the ocean with. Yeah.
I would it like this.
In the show, they shower and wash their hair as mermaids because what other option do they have? And that makes me think, could they use leave-in conditioner? Probably not. Any outside of the shower product outside of oil is out of the question, so no gel, no sprays, no nothing. And about human activities, I love the beach more than anything in the world. I could never go again. Unless you're lucky to live nearby somewhere with a lot of beaches where you could find one on your own, but that's not the case for me. Although as a mermaid you could probably find places along the coast that humans don't or can't access, but that would be quite lonely, wouldn't it? Going on trips with people, like what if it's a beach holiday? You know, showering in the hotel room or the Airbnb or whatever. As someone with a chronic health problem, this is kind of starting to sound like having a physical disability. I don't really know why I never realized this before. I guess I just never stopped to analyze it till now. But we are looking at this as a feature of a fantasy world and not making any allegories with the real world, the way that I did in my Skate the Infinity video. But yeah, this reminds me of how much I have to worry and how much extra work I have to do to make sure that my body doesn't fuck up my plans. And it still does, because it's not really something I can control. So yeah, I don't want to go down this route. I just want to have some fun with mermaid magic, but it's cool to know. Just imagine how insanely careful you would have to be all the time. You'd end up so paranoid and fearful of ever leaving your room. If you go have dinner with your friends, somebody could spill water on you. If you're from a rainy town like me, you would have to find an excuse to not leave your house every time it rains, which is all the time, and that would really mess with your either job or studies or your social life. You'd always have to be checking the weather so it never surprises you, and then when it inevitably does, you would have to find somewhere private to run and transform into a mermaid. The constant lying would be exhausting, although anybody who is or has been in the closet might be familiar with that. Hey. And if you still live with your parents and they're any degree of strict, imagine all the lying you have to do. Or if you have roommates and they don't know, same thing. In the show, you can see that the girls, mostly Emma, have to make huge sacrifices. Emma was a competitive swimmer and she loved it. And her entire family was like cheering her on. It was like a big thing for her. She was the best swimmer. And she had to give it all up without giving any explanations. And everybody was very confused. And she was the one who suffered the most because she couldn't tell them. And she still really wanted to swim. And she could swim, but differently. And she would grieve this from time to time. If this had been a different, more grown-up show, which I don't need anybody to make, Netflix, we don't need a remake. We don't need a dark, gritty remake, okay? You did no harm with the Wings one. I have to watch the second season. I've heard it's better. And they have an actual Flora girl in it. Still no Tekna, so we can't win them all, but I am going to watch it and see how it goes. But yeah, if it had been a more grown-up show, I would have loved to see that choice and the consequences explored, how it fucked up with her mental health. I'm sure there's a fanfic about it somewhere, and if it's not anywhere, I want to write it myself. You would probably be able to tell your close friends. At least I think that I would definitely tell them, like, come on, I'm a mermaid. Like, hello. Let's go to the beach together, and I'll show you my tail. If you know what I mean. I'm stupid. This is why everybody slut shames me. I'm kidding, y'all don't do that. I love you guys. Imagine how hard dating must be. Like, eventually you would have to tell them, like, this is such a big thing in your life. And what if it doesn't end well? Like, what do you have to be worried they're gonna out you as revenge? Sounds terrifying. I don't want to keep going down the everything would suck road because it's not that type of video, but it does seem like it would be quite a lonely and isolated experience. Having only a small circle that knows this big secret that is so important to you sounds very tiring. With the rain thing, I just realized that the H20 mermaids are the polar opposite of Twilight vampires, which, by the way, I have even more Twilight things on my wall now. They need the place where they live to have great weather and almost no rain. So Australia feels like the perfect place. I don't really know much about it. I only know of Australia because of this show and The Good Place. So meanwhile, Twilight vampires look for cold, rainy, dark places so that they can live in hiding. I'd say being a mermaid is just being a yassified fish vampire, and being a vampire is just being a goth mermaid with very sharp teeth and drinking blood. If you put them together, you get the best creature, which is the vampire maid. I'm sorry about that name. I couldn't come up with anything better than that. Now, the thing that got me thinking and eventually led me to make this video, sex, which is where my mind always goes because I can't help it. What would sex be like if the touch of water turned you into a mermaid? And I'm not gonna get into scaly stuff, that's for my own free time. In the show they kiss people, so I guess saliva is fine. Not sure how much sense that makes, but whatever. One of my main queries is regarding lube. Obviously water-based, not an option, but oil-based doesn't seem like it would be any better because oil-based lube is just not great for you. There's a bunch of sex hypotheticals that I can't talk about here because it's YouTube, but I would love to. So I might, I don't know, make a Twitter thread or something. But I'm gonna sum it up. It's looking like you can't do much without mermaidification, which again brings its own set of questions that I want to discuss here desperately, but I can't. I also wonder if there's specific human-made liquids that would maybe turn you into a vampire if they came into contact with you.
Seems like I'm still in the Twilight video mindset. Into a mermaid.
I'm gonna say it once and then we're gonna move on. Okay? Cool. If somebody were to arrive on the inside, protectionless, would that turn you into a mermaid? If yes, then are mermaids ever able to have kids? Or is the body smart enough to make an exception with that one? Or maybe you'd be turned into a mermaid, but still it stays inside you somehow. And in that case, do mermaids need to take birth control? Can they have abortions? Does Plan B work? just a bunch of questions I have. And I'm gonna end that there. But also, the whole medicine thing brings me to, there's a bunch of medicine that is water-based. Can you use it? Like gels you apply, for example, testosterone gel, eye drops, creams, like you can't use moisturizer, but if you have eczema, can you put cream on it? Probably not. I assume intravenous stuff wouldn't count because if water inside their mouth doesn't count, then I guess things into your bloodstream doesn't count either, but that's just me speculating. The whole mermaid thing just gets more and more complicated the more I think about it. But I still would do it. Not to dox myself, but let's just say that near-ish to where I live, there's a beach with an island in the middle. Just like Mako Island in the show. Imagine being a 12-year-old girl obsessing over this amazing show with mermaids on it, and they have a beach with an island, and you have a beach with an island. Like, I thought the mermaid thing was imminent, like it was gonna happen, like it was a given. And I was like emotionally preparing for it. I knew I would have to lie, I would have to say goodbye to so many things. I know my life would be a lot harder than it was, and I was ready. And honestly, I still am. I think now I would tell my friends and maybe like my mom or something. It is quite rainy here, so that would be an issue, but we would get there when we got there. So yeah, I'm ready to be a mermaid or a vampire if there's any takers. I'll be both if it's possible, like physiologically. I've got a special power. I've got a special power.
We're here again. I was about 90% done editing this video when I realized that if I wanted to give some opinions, it was probably now or never. So I'm here. It's now. Also, I tried to continue the mermaid vibe for the addendum, and I recently made this seashell like earring thing that I like to put in my stretcher. So I think I'm definitely continuing the vibe. First things first, something that I've had a lot of people disagree with me on. Sane is hot. He's a hot character and a hot guy. I would. I think he has a good character arc. I like how he turned into a better person in part because of dating Ricky. And yeah, women are not self-betterment camps for men, but this is a nice storyline. And I like how direct and unapologetic Ricky is in her relationship. Like, I aspired to have that level of self-confidence and knowledge of my identity and my worth. Now for the main dish. Louis is such an icon, please. He invented bucket hats, which made me realize I have to wear my Bad Bunny bucket hat. Wait a second. The amount of seawater that this bucket hat has absorbed this year, wait, you can see so much of my room. That's better. I've run this to the ground, okay? I would not leave the house without it. Okay, Louis. He invented bucket hats and the concept and sport of fishing itself. He literally created boats himself. The show is supposedly about the three girls, but in reality, it's just about a normal guy who is just really into fishing, who happens to be the best friend of a girl who turns into a mermaid, and they kind of like each other, and it's messy, and it's fun. And it's cool. And he has to deal with a lot of bullshit, okay? Always being eager and helpful whilst Emma and Ricky are mean to him. The poor kid puts up with so much and he just wants to help. And I will not tolerate anybody calling him a simp, okay? He's not just doing it to get Cleorg. He is genuinely trying to help the girls, and he is interested in understanding the mermaidification, science, and magic to help the girl, not to get any recognition from the science community. The science community. I am such a bimbo sometimes. The scientific community, which is his canon dream. He wants to be a scientist, I think like a marine biologist specifically. He didn't want to like profit from it either, just genuine wish to help and curiosity. I thought that as an adult, I would have more patience, empathy, and understanding toward Kim. Couldn't have been more wrong. That bitch is annoying. I'm sorry, she's like 11. I shouldn't have called her a bitch, but I can't stand her. Like, I need her to leave the show. I love the girls, okay? They are just girls who are girling it out, being mermaids, being cute, wearing nice outfits, wearing lip gloss. That's exactly what I'm doing. Except I'm not a mermaid. I'm trying very hard, but I'm just not there yet. They're so dramatic. Everything is either the best or the worst thing in the world. At times it can be so mean to each other and the people around them, but in the end they are always super loyal to each other. They put each other as priorities basically always, sometimes in detriment to their personal lives. Sometimes they get too possessive with each other, and I disagree the choices they make, like not letting Ricky date saying like, that girl can make her own choices, leave her alone. If anybody knows what she's doing, it's Ricky. I know you could say it's Emma, it's actually Ricky, okay? That I think Emma is more, is a facade of being in control, whilst Ricky just truly does not give a fuck, which puts her in control. Even though they do a lot of mess and a lot of chaos and drama ensues, you need storylines for a TV show, so yeah, it makes sense that that happens. They ultimately are always trying to do good, generally trying to save each other and themselves from being found out, because that could lead to them being taken apart for science, and we don't want that. They have a lot to lose, which is mostly each other, and they are like a true sisterhood. They feel like they're like my best friends. Like, I've grown up with them, you know? Charlotte, girl, give it up. He doesn't want you. Even when he's dating you, he keeps giving you signs he doesn't want you. Please, like, date somebody who actually wants to be with you, not to self. Oops. Even though I do like the girls' relationships, Emma never really got like a true boyfriend, did she? Well, the horse guy, I think, that was like her boyfriend. I would have loved to see Emma and Ricky dating. I think they would have been a really cute couple because they're so opposites. Like, Ricky's literally fire and Emma is literally ice. And I think it would have been really fun to see them dating. I think they would have learned a lot about each other and themselves. And, you know, in a different world, in a remake. If they ever do a remake, please don't. But if they ever do, please make them girlfriends. Cleo being the only straight one, she's the token straight, but her boyfriend is so nice that we accept them. Okay, I could say a million things about this show, but I think I'll leave it there. I wrote in my notes, I really want to get this video out as soon as possible. In my defense, I was on a trip and then my flight got cancelled and then the holidays, and life is hard. But I think that I'm slowly building a routine that will allow me to do this more efficiently. So yeah, stay tuned. Back to me in like November. It's January now. I'm so sorry. Okay, I cannot believe I made it through an entire video without being sappy about something, so let me ruin it, but it's gonna be unrelated to this video. So my last video, I'm tired of pretending that Twilight isn't a good movie, kind of blew up in a small scale, at least in comparison to my other stuff. Quiero saber dónde está la soltera. Pa, 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 pa. Un verano sin ti, mami no te llamando. It has almost 2,000 views at the time of filming this, and when I posted it, I had 25 subscribers, and now I have 70. So it's honestly like made a huge difference. Yeah, I don't know what happened between filming that and now, but somehow the video is at like 5,500 views, and I have 180 subscribers. So, I don't understand what's happening, but thank you so much. And since I filmed that, now the video is somehow at almost 10,000, and I think I have like 305, 6 subscribers. What the fuck is happening? Also, Sukuna is only hot because he is in Itadori's body, so fight me if you disagree. And I know that seems like nothing compared to anybody with literally any real success, but to me it's huge. It's honestly crazy. I have a life's worth catalog of art that I've just never shared. I've never just been brave enough to show people what I make. So this YouTube channel was a new and vulnerable thing for me, and when the video started to like pick up some traction and people started to comment on it, that was insane. Like, I had never had that happen before. Complete strangers that have no reason to do so, taking time out of their day to comment something nice about something that I've made. So yeah, that like blows my mind. I've got a special power. I hope finishing this video now that I filmed it doesn't take more than 2 weeks. Now editing me will let us know if I was successful. What do you think? Thank you for watching this one. Like and subscribe and stuff. This one was meant to be simpler and quicker. I am working on a bigger one though. We will see how that goes. Again, thank you. And I don't know, long live vampire maids, which is a thing that I've made. I'm sure I'm not the first person to put those two together. Who am I? Girl, come on, Tumblr exists. Anyway, bye.